Hello everybody and welcome here to round 12 at Jeddah here for tier 2 tonight. You're joined once again by the one and only Oof and Hoof, as per usual, because apparently everyone's slack this week. And we'll get on board now to watch some drivers and see what times they can do here. And got some high expectations from kind of these guys. Ozgo Khan here, very top tier driver, can always pull out a random result whenever you would not expect him to. Formula Fish having a great season this season compared to most. Indeed, I did there. What now? Hello. Pom's having a blinder of a season in career best form now. Currently leading the championship. Got all to lose here tonight in Jeddah. Williams boys are looking very strong here. Carl Faniza always looking to have a crack. Well, we get some details on the board. Yeah, no content for once. No, he's out on the track there in the Aston Martin for Roshan Robot. Alright, as we will go on to the first driver to start a lap, and it will be Ozgo Khan as he readies up to start his lap, burning down to about 85% here, in past and going across the timing line now into turn 1. About 85% on the battery. Very nicely through there, very smooth there from Ozgo Khan. Closely trailed there by the Alpine of, I believe, Josh Grizz, who's just coming out of the pit. Ozgo Khan looking to put a nice banker on here, taking it very nice and easy through these corners, trying not to crash himself out, put himself on this curve, for example, and he looks to have gone pretty cleanly through there. Coming into the hairpin now, Ozgo Khan setting a nice first sector, now onto his second sector. Difficult chicane coming up now, with the right left into through sector 2. D1 Hooper hater, of course. Cooper the bottle job. Hey, what happened in tier 4, mate? What happened? Sorry, tier 3. Give you that one. Ozgo Khan now onto the second last straight of the lap. This circuit consists of 4 main straights realistically, if you include the one in sector 1 and 2. Sorry. Ozgo Khan now coming up to the line now, burning that battery down all the way, using everything. It's a 127.3. Very nice lap there. No, I meant like the tier 3 championship, mate. What happened? Hey, with Wingy, you know? Got him there. As Hunter goes at 28.424, running wide into turn 1 there. After finishing his lap, as we see Jordan Sears pull into the pit box after he invalidates his lap. Pomps the win. Very nice lap there from our championship leader. Puts him up into P2 for now. Nice banker from him. Formula Fish P3 with another nice banker. And Hunter just a bit off the pace there. Tier 3 driver stepping up into the shoes. Boys. Yuki Bear, no, he's a fan favorite here in tier 2. Mr. I dropped the sandbags to get back into. Sorry, I put the sandbags back on to get into back into tier 2. Let's see what he can do now in the McLaren. 32 flat in the first sector. Very nice time there from Yuki Bear. So he comes around the hairpin now, getting on to this mini little section here, into the far chicane here, carrying about 200 k's an hour through the chicane. Yuki Bear looking on a nice lap here onto the back straight as Grizz goes fastest ahead of Ozgo Khan. Now Yuki Bear, let's see what Yuki can do. Coming in to the fast left-hander here. Yuki Bear looking on top at the moment. Hasn't any purple sectors as I can see at the moment, but Yuki is looking like he is flying. So let's see what he can do. Thanks, what now? I'll have a read of it in a minute. Let's watch Yuki Bear's lap. as he comes around the final corner very nicely there. Yuki now coming up to the line, burning that battery all the way down. And there we go. Yuki Bear, 27 flat, very rapid time there from Yuki. As I'll read out Watney's prediction, just for the... Let's have a look. P1 Yuki, P2 Shifty, P3 Hunter, P4 Zonix, P5 Car, P6 Jordan, P5 Jordan. Sorry, I'm reading this wrong. P1 Yuki, P2 Shifty. No, am I reading it right? I'm lost. What do you mean about the glass pipe, Tom? What glass pipe? Sorry, what? Where did that come from? Didn't even check him on the board. 26-2 there for Ricciardo. I don't know, even I did that back in tier 2. Kirko will be loving this, as his driver has just gone on pole. The man who loved the street circuit, as I recall, won out in Azerbaijan by a hot margin. Now on pole by 0.8 of a second here around Jeddah. Gotcha. Zonix. There you go. Yep. P3 Zonix, P4 Hunter, P5 Carl, P6 Jordan, Okay. I'm lost. Yeah, oh my god. I agree with you, Sparrow. He is very wrapped around speed circuits, but that does not excuse 0.8 faster around here. I'll just go down to the... driver day shifty, drunk pit crew, Ferrari, most sober pit troop, Alpine, fastest lap and cleanest lap, squash, DNF driver Hunter, most Finnecar, 13 DNS, 5 safety cars, 1 VSC, 3 red flags, and the best comms, of course, from me. Holy Mike, yeah, I know, Maxi. It's going pretty good for me at the moment. when I actually put it close to my face, hey. Is it good or not good? I don't know. Is it is it any good or not? Lovely, okay. That's what I want to hear. No. As I'll jump on here with we'll go with Angus, I think it is, coming down the main straight now. Yeah. It's just my... I've only got the HyperX Quadcast S here. The Quadcast S, yeah, that's all it is. Tom. As we'll watch here with Angus, as he gets really on the curb there. Surprise, yeah, there we go. But had to back out a bit of his lap there. Not great there, fully. Okay. Wingy, Slybow. As I want to jump on board with Ricciardo here. I want to see what this man can do, as he's already set a 26.2 on a banker. Keep in mind that Wallaby pole here around this track is indeed, I believe Tom said it was a 25.9 by Gregory Crucible. Tom, I'm sure one of them take your line into turn 4, okay? Ricciardo now. Let's watch along with him. Make sure he's not hacking. But let's see what this man can do. He's already set a 26.2 on his banker. 8/10 faster than any other driver. And let's see how much further he can put on that margin. 85% down into the start-finish line. Now Ricciardo into turn 1 and 2. Very nicely there. Getting on the throttle very early there. Right up next to the wall. Leaving no margin for error there, Ricciardo. Coming into turn 4. Takes it beautifully. Leaving no room for error there. Ricciardo obviously been practicing this circuit quite extensively on the way he's driving right now. Ricciardo now burning down to about 70% there. Now coming up into the very, very tight hairpin here. Very loose hairpin, I'd add. Now coming up now. It's a fast right, left chicane. See what he can do to do anything to his time. Flying now, Ricciardo is coming along the back straight now. And he's down 0.2 of a second. Not looking amazing for him, but he's got a lot of battery here to burn in the final portions of his lap. His banker's already good enough for a tier 1 pole. But let's see what he can do now. Coming into the final corner, Ricciardo put the sandbags on a bit this lap. Oh, has a big moment there. That probably see him go into the pit lane. And Ricciardo there into the pit lane. With Formula Fish, now P9 into the pit lane too. Avon hadn't seen him. He just went up into P2. Yuki Bear on a lap, I believe. Yes, Yuki Bear is on a lap. Yuki currently flying, but I don't think he'll be near enough to... He won't be able to get ahead of Ricciardo, but I'm sure he can have a crack here at Avon. No, he's into the pit lane. That's his lap. See if Jordan Sears. No, Jordan Sears is on a lap. Hunter's not on a lap. Stick Party, he's not on a lap. They're all in the pit lane now. There we go. Mucking around my mic, sorry folks. Who's game enough to go for the first lap, and it's going to be Poms for the win, our championship leader, who will lead the pack here for their final runs here in qualifying for tier 2 here in Saudi Arabia. Poms has everything to lose tonight. If I go to the standings now, Poms is currently just 13 points clear of Aban here coming into this round, so his main rival is ahead of him by a significant amount. Matt Skills, you've just only it's all the toe, Matty. That's all it is. The toe's where it's at, apparently, quote unquote. Pluggery's teammate giving him a toe of a lifetime. But here we go. As all the drivers coming out of the pit lane now, this might leave a bit of pressure on Poms to the win as he's going for his final flying lap of the night. Poms, here we go. Under the lights here of Jeddah. Into turn 1, burned out to about 85%, as Brendan Lee always states. Now coming in to the left right-hander into turn 1 and 2. Keeps it very nice and composed. Keeps it on the throttle on the exit. Very nicely there for Poms. Looking to gain heaps of time as Carl Faniza has retired on track, I believe, there. Not to any fault of his own. Maybe not. He had a quali ban. I'm not too sure. But Poms so far looking on a roll here. As he comes into the very, very loose and fast speed hairpin, Poms is not doing too bad. He comes up towards the chicane now. Got to get this really nice and down pat. He's always a bit wide, losing a bit of time there, but still on the limits here, Poms. Really wanting to try and exceed to the best of his ability now, as the championship now depends on it. 3 rounds left of the season. Poms now it goes a bit wide again. Needs to get a bit more on that edge. But he's into a bit of traffic now. He's going to get a huge tow here from his teammate, Winter. Winter giving him all the tow he can get. Now he might be in a bit of trouble here. The McLaren. Oh, he is going to be impeded here, Poms. The McLaren there of, I believe it was Shifty Wizard, has impeded Poms for the win. That's going to be a huge result here on this lap. He's going to try and push to the line, but Poms being impeded. And yeah, he 4 attempts up. But it's not... Ooh. A bit... How'd he do there from Poms? But not on there, impeded in the final corner. We'll go on to Ricciardo here, who has slowed down on his fast lap. Ricciardo has had an issue, I believe. I believe Ricciardo has had to bail out on his lap. Next person closest driver would be Yuki Bear. He's only up 1800 for the second. And Yuki Bear is flying, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. A-Barn is down on his time. He won't improve this lap. Yuki Bear's only up 700 for the second now. It's all in the final sector of this lap. Can Yuki Bear take A-Barn for second place? Ricciardo's sealed on pole. No one's taking that away from him. Yuki Bear now, what could he do to try and put himself ahead of A-Barn here? Will there be enough in it for this lap for Yuki Bear? I don't know if there will be, but he sure will have a crack. Yuki Bear up to the line now. It's going to be a 26-6. And he does go ahead of A-Barn there. Grizz now up to the line and he will go P4. Squash Josh just up on his time there in Sector 3. What can he do? I think he's abandoned out of his lap. No, he has not. He's still very much going. Squash Josh now up to the line. Can he improve? And he does not improve. Next closest driver is Sick Party, and he does not improve. It's now down to Jordan Sears, who improves up to P14, and then Angus there, qualifying in P18. And that will be a wrap for qualifying, as Ricciardo takes a monstrous pole there, 4/10 of a second on his first lap of the night. He didn't set a faster lap than that. And there you have it, folks. I'll get the standings so Maxi doesn't get mad at me. But there you go. Ricciardo, Yuki, and A-Barn there. The top 3 here for tonight. And then I'll just scroll through the rest of them. We got a bit of time. I may as well go through them. P4 goes to Grizz, Squash Josh, Tudor, Ozgo, Poms, Sick Party, Zonix, Plugger, Fishy, Winter, Sears, With Me Teeth, Shifty, Hunter, Angus, and then last but not least, Carl, who had to serve a qualifying ban, I believe, after last week there in good old-fashioned Monza, fastest circuit on the calendar. Yeah, Sparrow, I understand that Ricciardo's meant he's really good. I agree with you, but 8 attempts is monstrous around here. It's not a circuit where you find much time on other drivers. And have you still got the same predictions for tonight there? What now? If you're still there in the chat. Yeah, Ox. That 26-2 was on his banker. Keep in mind. No, it's not another race. It's just You got any changes in your predictions? Any? Or are you locked in? Here we go, guys. Not long now. 2 of the green lights go here around Jeddah. Tier 2 underway. 3 rounds remaining. Can Poms do anything to solidify this championship in this round? Or will he come under significant pressure coming out of this round from Aban, who's looking very strong there in the kick Sauber? Here we go. 5 lights, and it's away we go here. Ricciardo fast off the line there, followed by Yuki Bear. Ozgo Khan making a few spots. Down Pomsiford wins down to 10th place, and there's a very, very close wheel-to-wheel contact there with Ricciardo and Yuki Bear. These two going at it now. Ricciardo and Yuki Bear side by side. Yuki Bear is alongside and ahead of Ricciardo there into turn 4. Poms down to 10th still. Sonic's up to P9. Jordan Sears in up and down 4th. Fishy making the move. Winter in the back there. As we got a yellow flag there. I don't know who it's for. Winter gets a 10-second penalty there for cutting and gaining a place. I'm sure they'll be looked into after the race. Yuki Bear, though, taking a monstrous start there to take the lead of the race. Ricciardo will not be happy about it. But there's nothing Ricciardo can do now. They're all on the medium tyres except for Hunter there, who's fallen down to last place now, considering he's on the hard tyre. Ricciardo will be anxious to get that move back. Aban in the box office. See here, P3 currently behind these two racing merchants here ahead of him. Aban all to lose tonight. He can win. He can put himself in the position to be leading this championship at the end of the night. As Pomps the win, I didn't even see what happened to him. He's down to P17. That is not going to help his race at all. P17 for the man who is leading the championship, while his main rival is currently in 3rd position with nothing to lose. He wants to win this race, but P3 right now would be a godsend from him. As Grizz now looking on the attack here of the kick Sauber. Up in here, Grizz and Squash Josh looking in a good position here in the top 5. The two of them able to work together, I would assume, as we see the Red Bull of Ozco going to be a bit wide there, and Tudor looking to possibly have a move there, but nothing happening there. As these guys are all falling into a rhythm there. Angus, the closest driver to another driver. Sick party now. Up into P9. We'll have a look here. Where is it? Position changes. Biggest winner so far is Carfaniza from dead last up to into the points. 15th with Carfaniza. Jordan Sears there and Shifty Wizard. Both up 3 positions. Biggest loser is Palms to win, who's had a monstrous start. Not in a good way though. Palms, he's fallen all the way down to 17th out of the points there. What now? Oof isn't old enough to be a dad. He can't be making dad jokes. He's all about 18. Yuki really just settling in now. Ricciardo all over the back of him. Aban not going anywhere anytime soon. These guys setting the pace early in this race. We have I'll turn the battery status, and it looks like it is a world of Yuki Bear right now. He's charging his battery as Ricciardo burning through this section. Very interestingly, Quali Merchant possibly on the cards here. Move around the field a little bit to see if anything happening. Closest battle I can see is Tudor closing in as Zonix gets a good run there out of the coming out onto the last straight, second last straight of the lap. It's not going to be enough. Everyone's in a DRS train now as Ricciardo will look to make his move on this lap, I would assume. The battle pack is set as Ricciardo is now on the attack of Yuki Bear. Yuki Bear, I don't think will fight it too much. Ricciardo just ploying his cards. Yuki Bear not folding his position at all, using that battery saving to his ability there. A-Barn. They're in the green fluorescent wheelie bin, as our good old Pajali would say, is looking a good on the money at the moment for the championship fight, whereas his main contestant, the championship leader, is struggling there in P17. Huge there from the Williams, as in he has had a tough race start. He needs to crawl back at least somewhat, as Ricciardo's had a bit of a moment, I believe. 6/10 down now on Yuki Bear. Yuki Bear burning no battery at all, saving all that battery down the back straight. Now coming onto the second last straight, Yuki Bear deploys some of his battery now to keep the lead of this race. There, Palms and Whifferteeth battling at it there for P16 and 17. Those guys up the front just settling in now. Only big move up the front for now is Yuki Bear's strong perma performance coming out of turn 4 there, showing he had the big balls there into turn 4, making Ricciardo have to back out there, play his cards right, and Yuki Bear is on the money seat at the moment as Ricciardo is struggling a little bit behind, but it's not to matter. Ricciardo's not going anywhere anytime soon. Neither is A-Barn. The grid is all squashed us, and keep in mind that this train goes all the way down, all the way until Winter, who's in P14. 14 cars in the space of about, let's go, 14 cars in 7.5 seconds at the moment. These guys are leaving nothing on the table at all. And now there's a possibility of Yuki Bear breaking out of the DRS of Ricciardo. Has superior battery saving technique played into Yuki Bear's hand here? That's what everyone's been asking. As Yuki Bear he's out to 1.1 seconds. It's not going to matter as Ricciardo builds his way back in, but Ricciardo on the brink of losing DRS, losing that slipstream advantage, as Yuki Bear is lots faster here than Ricciardo. Ricciardo obviously very fast on that soft compound tire, but on the medium compound tire he's not showing too much. Ricciardo really struggling out there for grip. It might be the setup. The setup might have been very quality based, but Ricciardo is not having a day of it at the moment, and he closed back into 7/10 of a second on Yuki, but he has no battery, whereas Yuki has a lot more battery. As Ricciardo now forced to defend there on Avon, who's putting immense pressure there on Ricciardo. Ricciardo now having to burn here, whereas Yuki is, as Avon makes a move on Ricciardo there into turn 4. Ricciardo currently struggling there on the medium compound tyre. Huge news there out of Red for the Ferrari garage. The tyres are just not clicking there for Ricciardo, as we have an incident now, and it is... I'm not too sure. Is it Jordan Sears? Yes, Jordan Sears has had a spin. Now it's Avon's chance. Avon, our championship contender, currently on a roll to have a crack on first position here tonight in Jeddah under the streetlights. We have another spin. It's Jordan Sears again there at the back of the grid. Not having a night of it there, Jordan Sears. But Jordan Sears around again. He might have rear wing damage, I believe. Let's have a look to see if he has rear wing damage. Coming down straight here. Maybe it's on him. Assuming he'll be in to retire the car. Yeah, there you go. Assume rear wing damage there for Jordan Sears. Yuki Bear under a little bit of pressure now from Avon, who's racked up the pace a little bit. Ricciardo's fallen into third position, but it's allowed him to repace himself and just sit behind there of Avon. But in saying that, he is losing an immense amount of time so far there to Avon. 7 attempts in it, and he's not saving much more ERS than what Avon is. As Avon now thinks about having a Proy at the lead of the race, but thinks better of it. But now Avon on the charge on the outside here of Yuki Bear. He backs out of it as Yuki Bear cuts across him coming into turn 4 there. Yuki Bear under the first real pressure we've seen all race after taking the lead into turn 1. Jordan Sears leaves the session, but Yuki Bear under a lot of pressure here from Avon. I'm sure he really didn't expect that one. He's been leading this race the entire way through. But now Avon showing that he's come to play here around the streets of Jeddah. Yuki Bear is going to be in some immense pressure here as Ricciardo really closed the gap after a little scrap earlier. But Ricciardo is going to force Avon to have to burn some of his battery here. And Ricciardo is going to force Avon as Yuki Bear had an attack on the lead as Avon tries to go down the inside. In fact, that brings Ricciardo into the play. Ricciardo, Avon and Yuki Bear all fighting for it now. As Ricciardo is now going to go to the outside. It might be free wide here into turn 1. It is free wide here into turn 1 as they try to make it work. And Yuki Bear manages to prevail there into turn 1 as A-Bahn goes around the outside there as he's going to have a look here into turn 4. No, he backs out of that one. A very smart, wise move there from A-Bahn. Very, very, very on-edge stuff there from the top 3. Could have ended so badly very quickly, but the top 3 managed to end up without a scratch as Yuki Bear showing a dominant line there into turn 1, taking his line correct, defensive line correctly there. Well done for him. As the battle's not over yet, as A-Bahn is still under a lot of pressure here from Ricciardo, but Yuki Bear is not gone up the road too far. He wouldn't have much battery to his name, I am sure of it. He's got more than A-Bahn, but is that enough? As Ricciardo has played his cards right, A-Bahn has spent his battery, but Ricciardo now has a chance to have a go for the lead here of the race, as now Ricciardo will pass A-Bahn without A-Bahn having anything of it. Now Yuki Bear is going to be under pressure here into turn 1. Ricciardo now, superior battery to Yuki Bear. As Yuki Bear plays a dummy, is into the pit lane. That is huge there for Yuki Bear. Very, very, very big move there from Yuki. I've just got to hope for no safety car this lap. As now Ricciardo takes the lead after losing the lead on lap 1. He's retaking the lead on lap 11. A-Bahn sitting around that first, second and third mark. He's been all around the shop tonight, but now he's in second, trailing the Ferrari there of Ricciardo, as I assume these guys will be in at the end of this lap, as we've seen Sick Party falling off the train here. It's just first, second, third and fourth, but Yuki Bear has a big opportunity here to break the gap to these guys. We all know the undercut here around Jeddah is massive, so this will be interesting to see what happens between these guys. Yuki Bear just ahead behind Squash Josh now. He's going to have a bit of traffic, but he will probably pass Squash Josh here. Traffic would be hurting him just the tiniest bit. Yuki will go past Squash Josh along the back straight here, I reckon. Going to make a bold move like Oscar Piastri did in 2025. No, he's playing his cards right. He's not going for it. He's going to go for it in the next straight, as I assume Ricciardo and A-Bahn will be in at this lap. A-Bahn, no, they're not in. They're going to play the long game. They're going to play the overcut. And yeah, we see Grizz, Onyx, Sick Party, Plugger all into the pit lane. This is going to put it first and second here at jeopardy, as A-Bahn is all over the back here of Ricciardo. Ricciardo with superior ERS at the moment, but it's not going to matter, as A-Bahn's going to have that option of DRS, as Ricciardo is just pulling that bit further and further, as Yuki Bear gets a huge 3-second penalty for corner cutting there. That is sensational. He will not be wanting that to his name, as he's still stuck here behind Squash Josh, who's not giving up any quarter here. Squash Josh, now Oz Gokhan, as we see Oz Gokhan go wide, as well as Yuki Bear. Oh, there's a big crash there from Oz Gokhan. Oz Gokhan is around. He's going to have to try and get back going. Not too sure what happened there. I think he just got loose, but Yuki Bear has been caught in a bit of a pickle here. Squash Josh not giving any quarter to Yuki. He doesn't care that he's got any different tire. Sorry, they have the same tire amount. I didn't even notice. Squash Josh has just come out ahead of Yuki. I didn't even see how that planned out. Now it's up to Ricciardo and A-Bahn. Are they in at this lap? Yes, they are in this lap. As Ricciardo and A-Bahn zoom in to the pit lane here. Both of them not wanting to get any penalties. Very slow pit lane entry. But here we go. Squash Josh is our provisional race leader at the moment, as he is the first driver who has box. But Yuki Bear will have something to say about it. As we see now, the Ferrari and the Kick-Sauber there coming down the pit lane, as we see the first, second and third drivers come out of the pit lane, and the undercut has not worked out that great. as Ricciardo and Aban feed out behind there of Tudor, who's been racked up into 4th position. But Yuki Bear has a 3-second penalty hanging over his head now, which will be looked at, I assume, by the stewarding office. As you see, 3-second penalty there to Yuki Bear. 6 seconds for Winter. That's Winter now. 3-second penalty. 9 seconds for him now in the Williams. Poms, I forgot to add, up to 12th position after losing out after an early lap 1 incident. Now Squash Shot's going to be under immense pressure here from Yuki Bear, as Yuki Bear deploying his battery similar to Squash Shots, as Yuki almost runs at the back of Squash Shots there, trying to get the better line out of this corner, out of the final corner. Now Yuki all over the back of Squash Josh. And sorry, Ricciardo, I didn't even see that. He's up to 4th position. He's got the overcut and he's already making it work, as Yuki Bear is going to look to go around the outside there of Squash Shots. There's a bit of wheel argy-bargy as Squash Shots is forced into the wall there. Yuki Bear takes the leaders there. Ricciardo takes advantage of the scraps and it takes the place on Squash Shots there. Wow, Ricciardo into 3rd position. He's looking in the optimal seat there for himself, as Ricciardo has got the younger tyres than all of them, and he's behind Yuki, who already has a 3-second penalty. Hunter now. I think there will be a bit of mischief here. 2 seconds, the gap here from Hunter. I assume so, Tom. Hunter can play a very, very interesting role in this race if he doesn't box this lap. He stays out. He does stay out. Hunter gambling a safety car or gambling that he's going to cause some drama. As watch behind here, they're all sitting ducks. Because at any time, I didn't even notice that. Squash Josh had made a move back on Ricciardo. I didn't even see that happen. We wait just 2 seconds more until Yuki closes the gap here on Hunter. Hunter choosing to stay out on older tires. Hunter can play a role in this front pack here. If it keeps going the way it is. As now Ricciardo all over the back of Squash Josh. Squash Josh under immense pressure there from Ricciardo. As now Hunter comes into the vision of Yuki Bear, as he now sets his eyes on the second last straight around the backside of the track. Now Yuki under pressure here from Squash Josh. As Squash Josh looks to make a move to the lead, Yuki covers off the line. Now it's going to be a bit of a drag race into turn 1 now, as we see Hunter go into the pit. Yuki Bear with the DRS. Squash Josh, all of them DRS, sorry. And it will be Ricciardo. Now Squash Josh goes around the outside of Ricciardo, and Aban's going to have a look to pick up the scraps there on Ricciardo. Ricciardo goes from making a move to losing a couple positions there. And Ricciardo falls down into 4th position. Aban capitalizing on that little scramble there. Hunter feeding out into 16th place. Not too bad for Hunter. It's not the worst. He's on brand new tyres as well. Calfaniza, 3-second penalty to him. His race not looking too great at the moment. Now Squash Josh under some pressure here from Aban. Don't count out Ricciardo either, who has his battery saved up. Aban now all over the back of Squash Josh, but he's not going to fight it as Ricciardo makes the move there on Aban. He'll look to make the move now. No, he doesn't. He chooses to wait. But Ricciardo looking all over the back there of Squash Josh. Squash Josh is going to be under immense pressure here coming down the main straight as they're going to go for 3 wide again, I reckon, here. No, as Aban sticks his nose around the outside. No, it's not going to work this time now for Aban. He's actually going to be under pressure now from Ricciardo as Ricciardo on the outside. As Ricciardo has to back out of the move. Does not want to go too wide there into turn 4. Not worth it, he says. There, Ricciardo. Matty Skills. Is the mic sound any different or not? Am I just balling? Now Aban is gonna be on the hunt again here into the final corner. Aban deploying that battery as he goes to the outside, forces Squash Shot defensive, and there's a bit of a tire hook there from Aban and Squash Shot, and it's caused Aban to lose out the position to Ricciardo there. As Ricciardo now on the outside of Squash Josh, he's gonna look to make the move there. I'm throwing the wrong driver there, sorry. As Ricciardo tries to stick his nose in, there's Abe there. Squash Josh has a bit of a slide. It's going to cause him to be under a lot of pressure here from Aban. Aban sticks behind. Bit of wheel banging there. Very, very on the edge there from those drivers. And it's going to cause Yuki Bear to all but break the gap here. But if Ricciardo has anything to say about it, he will not let it happen. As Ricciardo now doesn't even... Now, Osgo sets the fastest lap of the race after being spun around there in the first sector a couple of laps ago. Now, if this keeps going the way it's going to be a muck towards the end of this race as these drivers are hitting for it. As Squash Josh now has actually lost out DRS to Ricciardo in their little squabble there between him and Aban. But let's see how long that lasts as Yuki Bear is going to be under a bit of pressure from Ricciardo coming up to the end of this lap, I reckon. Here we go. Ricciardo now all over the back of Yuki Bear. Does he send a late dive now on Yuki Bear? No, he does not. As Aban is back into third position. But Squash Josh not wanting to let it slide. But Squash Josh isn't going to have a choice this time around. Maybe he does actually. As Aban is on the outside here. And it's going to be very close. Squash Josh has to back out there. As Aban shuts the door on him. But now they need to catch the drivers in front or else it is game over for them in terms of a chance at the lead of the race. Aban deploying all of his battery whilst Ricciardo is savouring. So is Yuki. He's back into DRS range for now, Aban. But will it matter coming down to this last couple of laps with the superior battery there of Yuki and Ricciardo? Now, Ricciardo, I reckon he's going to sit behind Yuki. He got this opportunity to, because he doesn't need to pass Yuki anytime soon. He can just sit behind him. But it's for how long, though? Because Aban is closing the gap rapidly here on Ricciardo. He's not got as much battery, sure, but he is flying towards these guys. Very similar tyre. Where to Ricciardo, Yuki Bear's tyres would be starting to fall off a bit more by now. 5 laps to go. 6 laps including this one. Let's see what these guys can do coming out these last couple of laps. Ricciardo now, full battery for the man. Aban has been allowed in this time to build his battery almost a full Osco 3-second pedal. Unfortunate for him. As now, I think we're going to see Ricciardo maybe have a look at Yuki Bear. He's gonna try and force Yuki to make an error, but Yuki just keeping to his line for now. Happy for Ricciardo to pass, but Ricciardo not wanting to pass, as he knows soon the second he passes, he's not going to be in the most optimal seat for the finish of this race. As Ricciardo putting more pressure on, Yuki still unfazed, but it's allowed Aban to creep back up into the factor here, as now Ricciardo is going to have a burn to look if he can try and pass Yuki. He goes down to the inside, Yuki goes to the outside. Yuki Bear not going to give any quarter as Yuki Bear gets ahead of the corner. Ricciardo gets a better exit out of the corner. Yuki is going to have to give up the position as Ricciardo makes a beautiful move there into the lead of the race, as Aban now is closing the gap right behind these two. He's got way more battery than Yuki does. Ricciardo still having a fair tank of battery. Now Aban all over the back of Yuki now. And in terms of battery, Aban is the man for it, as Yuki's tires now, I think, have given out. As let's go, fair enough, he has retired from the session. Ricciardo now. Let's see if he can hold this pole to win ratio that he currently has here in Wallaby Racing League. Sorry, as Aban now to the outside, going around the final corner. Yuki Bear's not going to give any quarter here. Now Aban around the outside still. He's got the battery on Yuki. Ricciardo being able to let breeze into clean air. But Aban is actually going to have a send here on Ricciardo for the lead of the race. Ricciardo has that better line, but Aban is able to stick his nose ahead. Yuki Bear forced to cut. He's cut out of the play there. And Aban now is going to go from third position into first position in a matter of 2 corners. Yuki Bear losing out big time there to Aban, but Ricciardo losing the lead as well. Aban has taken the lead in a very, very man-like fashion. But it's invited Squash Josh back in the party now. Squash Josh is now back on the scene in 4th place. He will be looking to pick up some scraps here of what he can. Grizz is also in the position to have a crack at any possible opportunity, as these top 3 have been scrapping at it all race. Been a very interesting race from these top 3. Yuki Bear now. Let's see if he can come back. His tires are older, but it shouldn't matter. He's been managing his tires very well throughout this race. But these 2 guys ahead of him had just got that bit of extra tire life, as Yuki Bear played the undercut, but it did not work for him. As now Ricciardo putting the pressure on Aban here. Aban has not got the battery for this, and it's allowing Yuki Bear back into the fold. Yuki will be loving this. It's going to help him out, as Aban goes to the inside line. Ricciardo to the outside. Aban's out of battery, and he concedes the place for now Ricciardo having superior battery management at the moment, as he has played his cards right for now. He's in the lead of this race, but now he's got to keep the lead of this race. As Ricciardo now, he is left now with 70% ERS to the 30%. I'm going to turn this off for now. Let's go back to having a look at how everyone's gone this race. No real big winners tonight. Shifty Whizzer up 4 positions. Hunter up 4 positions in the P13 there. Hunter doing really well, considering it's a tier 2 race for a tier 3 driver. Aban having a great race. This will really help his championship position. Poms crawled up to P9. That is a big drive for the man in the Williams. After falling all the way down to 17th position tonight, Poms is back into P9. He is my driver of the day so far. I haven't been on him, but I know that those are crucial points that Poms need. If Aban doesn't win this, those points could mean all the difference here. As Formula Fish gets a 3-second penalty. That will also not be helping him too greatly. As now, Ricciardo is trying to keep that battery nice and intact. Yuki Bear's tires are done. It's now Aban and Ricciardo for the meantime. As now, Aban is going to have his chance. Maybe he goes to the outside now of Ricciardo. Ricciardo's not going to put up too much of a fight. And yes, he is. Aban is going to be forced as wide as possible. Ricciardo is going to have the better run out of the line, it looks like. But yes, no. Aban's going to... Oh, very close there. Aban thought about sending it there into turn 4. Thought better of it. Yuki Bear pleading for the two in front to fight more, as he's just fallen out of the DRS of the two in front. He's got more ERS, but it's not going to matter, as Yuki Bear is struggling on those 2-lap older tires than Ricciardo and Aban. Aban trying to save that battery just that bit more as we come towards the finale of this Grand Prix, with Ricciardo leading as he got pole here by 0.8 of a second. Aban, who started third, currently fighting for the win. Ricciardo's put the foot down now, 0.8 a gap. But Ricciardo burnt his battery a bit. It's not going to matter. Aban's going to try and catch the gap, but I don't think it will matter. In this final sections of this lap, let's see what Aban's got up his sleeve, because Ricciardo is burning. He's burnt well, and he is now 0.6 ahead. 5. Now it's down. It's Squash Josh now, and scraps along with Yuki Bear, who has a bit of tie spin, but we'll go back to this lead fight as Aban has closed the gap a fair bit. 8% battery. He's not going to get a chance to make a move, I don't think. Ricciardo's playing a very defensive move, as it's 3 wide back here between the 3 of them. And Grizz is looking to make a move. No, he goes a bit wide. Oh, rear ends there. The back of Yuki Bear. Yuki Bear fending for his life on those older tires. He's had a bit of drama, but now it's Squash Josh retakes some place from Grizz. Up front now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, as Aban has this, they're about the same battery, but Ricciardo just pulling that extra bit of time out of his... It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top this race. Ricciardo looking like the man to do it. He's pulled out 0.7 now. Has he jumped the gun on it though? Aban's trying to truck everything at him, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Yuki Bear behind has the battery saved up, ready to defend on the cars behind him. But it's up to Yuki. Yuki's got no DRS. Cars in front. Let's see what he can do. Coming around. It looks pretty good here from Ricciardo. He hasn't done anything wrong so far. He's burned all the battery, but so is Aban. It's going to come down to pure DRS here if Aban's going to do it. But I don't think Aban's going to do it, as Aban has a send down. He looks to make a move there on Ricciardo. I don't think it's going to be enough, but Ricciardo now is going to look like he's going to win. Ricciardo crosses the line in first, followed by Aban. Now can Yuki Bear hold it? Yuki Bear looking to take the win, as Squash Shots gets to the line ahead of Grizz there, as Yuki Bear's demoted down to 7th position because of his penalty. Some very close finishes there. Poms finishes in P8. He'll be very happy about that. Aban finishes second, but Ricciardo, the man who got pole by 4 tenths. He's on 8 tenths on his banker, but 4 tenths at the end of it. But there we have it. Avon's finishes second. That will help huge in his championship five. Ricciardo as well in the championship five will be delighted to finish first there. Coming down to our final finishes. Carphanesia, the one and only, comes across the line in P16. Now, finally, it's P17 for Winter, who is looking for the fastest lap of the race here around Jeddah. It's going to be hard. Ozgo can't set the lap to beat, but Winter is on a roll here on the final lap. No fuel in the car. Let's see if Winter can do it. Winter now coming to the final corner of the track. Let's see what he can do. Winter around the final corner, flat foot to the finish line. Let's see if he can take pole position. Sorry, not pole, the fastest lap of the race. Excuse my language. No, I don't think he did. But there you have it. P17 for Winter. Very unfortunate race there for the Williams driver. There we have it. There we go. Ricciardo is our race winner. Ozgo continues to hold that fastest lap. Hunter gets driver of the day. Most overtakes was Hunter, and cleanest driver, Shifty Whizzer. As we'll go through now the list of drivers, as Ricciardo takes the win ahead of Avon, Squash Josh, Grizz, Tudor, Sick Party, Yuki Bear, who I'm sure we will see back up on the podium, if pleading he had no penalties after what happened. Palms, Zonix, Plugger, Hunter, Shifty, Formula Fish, FT, Whiff, Carl, Winter, Ozgo, Jordan Sears. And that's it here around Jeddah tonight. All right, while we're waiting on these boys, I guess we'll go to Squash Josh. Mate, it was a tough bit of trying to fight for every bit of ground there at the end there, but just run us through your race.
Yeah, look, rough start with the qualifying. Bottled my final lap and I was up 2/10, which potentially would have made a difference. I can't remember, but got a good start on the mediums. Having Grizz there as a teammate worked really well, and then was to box me from behind to break the DRS. To allow the undercut to happen, or at least Grizz to stay ahead of the guys, anyone that had boxed from behind us. So did that. Somehow managed to jump Yuki in the pits, which was a nice little added bonus. And then yeah, the rest is kind of wrote itself. I think Mr. McLaren Yuki Bear could be in a bit of hot water with the Ozco incident, which really released the pressure. And then Grizz boxed and he came out behind us, and we could just work together from there. So yeah, it was a good race. Surprised and absolutely stoked to come away with a P3. But shout out to these two boys in here with me as well. They're absolutely rapid.
No, it was fighting for every bit of ground out there. Every time I was having a look, few incidents there. There's a lot of few times free wide there. I believe it was your teammate Grizz there, and Yuki Bear into turn one on that final lap. It was very interesting to watch there. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought someone was going to spin. I was waiting for it, but no, you just kept it clean. But yeah, great race from you. But moving on from that to how are you feeling for next week at Spa?
Look, Spa's one of those ones that's just a go-to track, and I haven't done any practice, but hopefully we'll. I mean, I'm out camping all weekend this coming weekend, so we'll see how we go, see how wrecked I am on Tuesday. But no, love the track. It's just a all-time classic, isn't it? So yeah, pretty keen.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll do good. I'm sure of it. But yeah, congratulations to you, man.
Thanks, mate.
Now I'll move on to P2, who could have very much been P1, but is a man in the green fluorescent really been my predecessor? Sorry, my successor, Mr. Aban himself. Talk us through your race.
Good evening. Yeah, frustrating end. Really felt like the win was there, so really motivated to get that championship. But yeah, Charter just a bit. It was just too good today. But yeah, it's very tired, very very tiring race. It was probably just one of the most stressful nights ever. But yeah, it was. Not, I don't know. Not much can be said.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, we're always up there fighting with Yuki there at one point, then Richardo. You were very, very close there, but in the scheme of things, a P2 will solidify. I believe you'll be very close, if not in the lead of the championship once again. With Poms having a really struggling race there with a few incidents I saw. But yeah, it was a great race from you. The win was on the cards, but P2 cannot complain about.
Yeah, definitely. But like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard. It was just very hard race. It's just frustrating. I think I'm like way more P2s than P1, so it's just so like yeah, it's a bit add more to frustration, but yeah, it is what it is. I would take those points, 2 races left. I really want this championship, so yeah, just see what we can do from here.
Yeah, really got that. But if you ain't first, you're last mentality, which I love. But yeah, coming on to Spa, I'm sure you'll be practicing, trying to get every bit of leeway on Palms and Richardo. Actually, I believe Richardo is moving in on you too, if I'm correct. I'm sure you've been watching the championship tallies.
Yeah, I'm not letting him get anywhere near me next time. So yeah, but just looking forward to Spa. Just it's still a bit shaky into the heavy braking zones. It's like most of my races, like I think the last 2 races I did ended because I just got my wing broken into turn one. So yeah, races go well when your wing is completely intact. So yeah, so just hope for a safe turn one, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, congratulations, man. You really deserve that P2. Deserve P1, but we can't all be P1, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you,
Anyway,
sir. Have a good
no,
night.
you too. And now, Mr. Qualifying Merchant himself, the one and only Richardo. You gotta talk us through that race because at many points there, I thought you had lost it.
Yeah, that quality time was I surprised myself to be honest. I
Do you know
because
that you were very, very close to breaking the Wallaby record, for
what?
for a lap. You were very close to breaking the record for the fastest lap in Wallaby around
Like
Jeddah.
including tier one.
Yeah, including tier one. You were 3 tenths off.
What? What? Nah.
I'm sure the lap will be broken tomorrow, but if it's not, man, you gotta be proud of that. Just talk us through it all.
Yeah, so that bro, like I will never ever do a lap like that in my life again. That was just like every corner to perfection. Um, like when I was practicing, it was like one of those ones where you're rewinding every corner to get it perfect, but this time I didn't have to rewind. Um, yeah, just like no matter what I did, like in my second run, third run, I couldn't beat it at all. But in the race, yeah, the race was really fun battling with Aban and Squash and Yuki. That was like really close racing and somewhat respectful. Most of the time, it was pretty respectful racing. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was really fun.
it was a great race to watch between you three up front. You really put in a show. Even Squash Josh there, you all really, really were determined, I would say, all fighting for that win. Yuki was very strong out at front. I think he had a bit of pressure on his outlap on coming out of the pits when he was going for the undercut, as Squash did get ahead of him coming out of the pit somehow. Not sure how that happened. I would have to see with those guys, but yeah, that really helped out big time for you when they went for the 2-lap undercut, and just having that extra tire advantage really helped you and A-Barn push away from those two at the end there. But yeah, it was an amazing race from both of you, and your qualifying, let's just say, like, you had the chat going off. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, man, it was a great race, and good 35 points to you, I believe.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Aban.
But yeah, as I was saying, Avon, how are you feeling about Spa? I'm sure you'll be trying to get every point in to try up in your chances. I know you're a street circuit maniac, but on the circuit like Spa, how are you feeling?
It's a bit of a long day at Spa, to be honest, for me.
Isn't it all for
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be one of those races where you can either do really good or it's just going to crumble in front of your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations to you, and yeah, we'll call that a wrap here for tonight here in Wallaby Racing League as we wrap up Tier 2 here tonight with our race winner, Ricciardo, followed by Avon, then Squash Josh wrapping up the podium. Stay tuned for tomorrow night when we have Tier 1 race around here. I'm sure there'll be a lot of drama there, a lot of DRS trains. And yeah, join us tonight at 8 p.m. for that, and good night.